Memory is something we humans are very familiar with. We use it every day, and we lose it more often than we would like. We have even developed devices that use a great deal of it, like personal computers, smartphones, e-books, and such. As students, memory is our key tool to success. Not the only one, but an essential one. We still don't know how memory really works, but one thing we do know is that it is a brain-wide process. Every single memory we have is a very complex construction. In a general way, we could say that memory is based in three processes or steps: encoding, storage, and retrieval of information. Encoding is based on our senses, what we perceive through them. Every sensation we get from the environment is analyzed in our brain and judged as either worth or not worth keeping. Information is translated into a language made of electricity and chemicals. Our neurons create new connections or synapses all the time while we gain new experiences, learn new things, or simply relearn them. This encoding process requires attention to work. The second process, storage, is divided in three stages. A sensory stage, which is just a few seconds long, short-term memory, much longer, and long-term memory, hopefully permanent. What we perceive is stored for a few seconds, and what is relevant will pass to our short-term memory as a bunch of information we find handy for some reason. What we finally consider important, consciously or not, will move forward to the long-term memory and stay there, perhaps forever. Retrieval is the final process of memory. It is the act of recalling information we previously stored. If we find ourselves being unable to retrieve a certain memory, it may reveal bad encoding most times. Probably we didn't pay enough attention to the stimulus when it was present. As we mentioned, attention is a key factor. So we have to store information to be retrieved later, and we call that memory. But how does information get stored in an orderly way to be retrieved so fast? Well, apparently we create chunks. A chunk is a collection of information that is somehow related, most times by meaning or use. That gathering of information can be retrieved as one piece, one chunk. It is considered a key mechanism of human cognition. We can create two types of chunks: self-oriented ones, which are deliberate and conscious, and perceptual ones, automatic and continuous. Those chunks can not only be retrieved independently, but also as groups of them that share a common trait, creating a bigger chunk. When we study or try to figure something out, we make use of these chunks in our working memory in the frontal cortex. Apparently, this working memory can only handle a small amount of chunks at the same time. Some authors suggest that we can work with 4 of them. Others say just 2, and some others go as far as 9 chunks. Well, whatever the answer is, what is clear is that the number is not too high and the amount is limited, so the longer and the more solid those chunks are, the better. For instance, a molecular biologist can see the acronym MAV, standing for monoclonal antibodies, and retrieve a huge chunk of information that took years to develop. Surely, first he had to understand what particles are, how do they assemble into atoms, how those atoms create molecules and so forth, until one day MAB triggers a huge chunk of knowledge. So at this point, we can say that in order to have our memory in good shape, we need our working memory to handle the chunks and our attention to create them. Then, taking care of our working memory and our ability to pay attention is a good measure. And the best way to do that is to sleep well. Apparently, during sleep our brain sweeps away toxins produced by our neurons. It seems that those neurons shrink and allow a great flow of cephalorachidous fluid to wash out the toxins. Also, there's a study that shows that sleep deprivation leads to a decrease of neurocognitive performance, affects the mood and the motor functioning, and it deeply affects executive attention and working memory. And we know that we need those, attention and working memory, to learn new things and to remember them, so we'd better sleep enough. The amount of sleep required to preserve our brain is not fixed, but most authors suggest around 7 or 8 hours per day. As Scott Young states in his wonderful blog, sleep is the foundation of your productivity. So, let's not miss it.
Created using Powtoon.